All right, our last series. Wow, we're already there, huh?
We are.
Last series of Super Saturday. Nalguidan versus Purple. Protect Priest, ban Shaman, and Purple with the Druid Warrior. Very popular combination. Interesting stuff, though, because I wasn't really expecting Priest to go under the radar for Purple. But it seems to be the case. Looking at Purple's history with bans, even with Priest in his lineup, I'm trying. He's had unconventional bans across the board, and he's sometimes protected Priest, and sometimes he's just not really acknowledged Priest whatsoever. So it seems like Purple's going for the hard to predict line. Like you can't really know what he's going to do.
Which seems to be the line he's going with in life. It's hard to predict what Purple's going to do at all times, everywhere, not just in Hearthstone, which makes him a very interesting person to watch and to follow. And it's been one of my favorite players for a long time. But taking a look at the 3 decks that are available to Purple, Question which he's protected, then the Combo Priest, and the Control Warrior. This has been kind of my favorite version of the Control Warrior. The one of Whirlwind with the 2 of Plague of Wrath. I like Plague of Wrath in the current meta. I think having it on time against Priest is important. I think having it in your arsenal, having 2 in your arsenal against Druid is also important for the waves of threats. But going into game 1, Nalguidan queues the Shaman, gets a rough matchup with Purple queuing Priest game 1.
Yeah, this is not the matchup that you want as the Shaman player, but, you know, that's not a bad opening hand, to be honest. Ooh. What is with these clerics on 1? I have no idea.
And he's going to draw the second Divine Spirit and the Inner Fire as next cards based on the trends from today.
I know that it's not actually a thing, but it just feels to me like there is an enormous amount of Northshire clerics on 1 compared to what it should be, TJ. This is not the statistical average.
Well, this is the perfect matchup to talk about conspiracy theories, since Nalguidan is one of the best conspiracy investigators in the entire Hearthstone scene.
Okay, go on.
He is the grandfather of many conspiracy theories, some popular, some not. And if you bring one up to him, he will investigate it at length.
There's little time.
Which is a trait about Nalguidan that I appreciate more than any other.
Go on.
Nope, that's it. The one that I buy into the most, obviously. The Dr. Boom. The Hero Power rotation. And now I think we're going to test the, if he wins, we'll test the Northshire Cleric on 1 conspiracy theory.
It's like it's almost like if you're going up against Shaman, you have like an 80% chance to draw Northshire Cleric on 1.
If you are on the play and you hard mulligan for a card, it's 30. Is it 34% chance?
I assume so. It sounds right at first glance.
Well,
like
joke's on you, Dan. I pulled that number out of my butt.
I mean, it's not 50% chance.
No.
It's definitely lower because you only have 3 cards.
So you have the initial cards as an opportunity.
Right. So you have 3 cards in the beginning, and then you throw away all 3, and you draw 4.
Yeah.
So that's 7 cards that get thrown out.
And 2 chances at getting it. The math works out a little bit differently than that, I think, but it's roughly that.
Sure. Sounds right. I know that because people were evaluating the chances of starting with Wild Growth in the opening hand, because Wild Growth for a long time was largely equated to having something like a Northshire Cleric on turn 1, which was a very hard thing to stop when it starts snowballing out of control. Now, historically, Priest has always had trouble in the metagame because Northshire Cleric didn't have a lot of good backup. But now, Injured Tolvir, Neverset Ritualist, High Priest Amet makes it all good.
Nalguidan going to attempt to build some board tension here to try and make this double Cleric start quite awkward for Purple, but...
Nalguidan was hoping for a 3-attack minion. So a lot of 3/3s.
No. The question for purple is how to best combat this. I guess it's Never Ritualist. But I was thinking maybe like Interfire and trade over something big, but then you leave a Lackey on board, which maybe not. All right. Yeah, just drawing a million cards is fine. You could have still done this, but you'd Interfire first, trade over the Vulpir Scoundrel.
Right, but then you'd be missing an Interfire.
You'd be missing an Interfire. I guess it's even worse to miss an Interfire in Purple's deck because he's cut a Topsy-Turvy for Forbidden Words, which means that he has one less activator for like health and attack flipping.
Yeah, that's entirely fair.
So, something to think about, you know.
Purple could use Divine Spirit here, but it is a little bit weak to a Kobold, Lackey, and Weaponized Wasp setup. So I think he instead chooses to go wide. My control tech isn't back-breaking by any means. Ooh, Earthshock. You know, so one thing that's interesting about the Scoundrel is that's actually another target that he can justify using Bog Slosher on.
Yeah.
Getting another spell to potentially like pick up. You get 3 chances at Plague of Murlocs or Earthquake or things like that. I don't hate that play.
Yeah, but Dan, they got rid of the Discover choices being class weighted.
You're
so
right.
Vulpir Scoundrel went from a 100% chance to discover a shaman spell to a 100% chance to discover a shaman spell.
Yeah, you're right. It's not worth it. Nalguidan trying to soften up the board before end up going into what is going to be some of his more powerful turns.
This is difficult because Purple isn't having a lot of mana to work with, and the Northshire Clerks are making it awkward.
I wonder. Yeah, of course. First World Priest problems. You have too many cards in hand.
Yeah.
It's, you know what we need? We need a GIF of the Vin Diesel crying with dollar bills, except it's Priest crying with Northshire Cleric cards. Or cards drawn with Northshire Clerics. Someone get on that. Looks like Purple's going to win this game, and about to close it out here. Wow, fast game number 1. All right.
We kept them on their toes.
They got up and started moving the camera. No worries. This game isn't going to end immediately, but pretty soon. Sorry. I'm really upset. As last time, we'll mess with the camera guy, I swear. Last time today. Full hand. Using silence in this spot. Just to dump a little bit of hand space.
Yep.
And the reason why we say that is because it does feel like Purple's in such a commanding spot that I really don't know how Nalguidan can handle the pressure.
Of course it's the right way.
Does have Earthshock for the Northshire Cleric, but it feels like the real threat in the board after Purple's drawn so many cards is that injured Blade Master.
Yeah, I think you have to be fearless in this position. Probably like a Hero Power Kobold Lackey, take down the 2/3.
Yeah.
Divine Spirit Interfire isn't enough to kill you.
Divine Spirit Interfire is enough to kill you.
Yeah.
What to do?
But you're not
How
really,
likely are they to have that?
You're not really beating that either way.
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything really about that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think Nalguidan wants to go for the chance of having the 30 Lackey, then Earthshocking the 5/5. Ooh, that's good for next turn. 2 chances at the Plague of Murlocs.
Divine Spirit still an out for lethal here for Purple. Powered Shield Beaming Sidekick goes up to 11, 22, 25?
Yeah, he needs to get the injured Blade Master up to 27 worth of damage.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
28.
He did see Earthshock here, though, which means he does have the benefit of going in. The problem is he used an Interfire.
That's fine.
He has no Topsy-Turvy, so once he deals this damage with Interfire, that's the last time he gets to flip something and deal damage.
I see a dark future.
Nalguidan's going to have 2... chances here for Plague of Murlocs.
Yeah, or Hex.
Or Hex. Hex, he wouldn't have the mana this turn.
Right.
But nothing else seems appealing. Purple playing around mind control tech. He realized that he has lethal almost set up. He needs a little something extra, assuming his 2/1 dies.
I wonder.
Beaming Sidekick plus Divine Spirit plus Interfire.
Nothing.
Is 24.
Stormbringer, Zap.
Hex.
He can still Hunting Vision.
He can Haunting Visions and look for Plague of Murloc. Still can't find Hex this turn, though. That's the problem. It feels like Hex just, in a nutshell, is the best.
It is, but... Okay. Yeah, it is. It is the best. Hunting Visions has a huge chance of just whiffing. And then you're stuck playing, like, Zap anyways. Yeah, I think this is the best course of action for sure.
And he can take out the Ahmed.
$22, $24 damage available to purple right now.
This is a very difficult game from purple side, trying to maximize board pressure each turn with limited mana, but a ton of cards. And at the same time, playing around mind control tech.
The end begins.
Injured?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, not too many minions have actually died on purple side. It's actually mainly been Northshire Clerics. I think a Light Warden died.
In Ahmed.
And Ahmet. So he honestly had a lot of great hits.
Quickly.
Purple could use a Forbidden Words here in this position, and but it doesn't trade very cleanly with the other minion. I guess you'd go into the 2/1, kill off both lackeys. I think I like that. I think this trade's okay as well. Yeah, so I'm looking at the Mogu Flesh Shaper, and it doesn't really seem to get much better. Or sorry, doesn't seem to be doing a lot here. But removing the 3 damage does have some relevance to it as well.
Yeah.
Now with this Hex, I think purple's like in a way happy to see that. So that, like, obviously you would just prefer to win right here, right?
Yeah.
But now he didn't commit too much into it. He didn't commit Divine Spirit. He didn't commit Interfire.
Yeah, he's still playing around mind control tech because he knows that there's been cards held in the hand for a while. And if he's going down this line, he's probably going to continue going down this line. He's 1 minion sticking plus a Divine Spirit out from winning the game, like regardless of which way you slice it. Obviously that turn he wasn't because his high health minion got dealt with, but he can just load up extra arms here on a Northshire Cleric. He saw the natural Earthshock. He saw the Hex, which was the last spell from the Ethereal Lackey. Bomb Samdi here does the same thing. It still threatens lethal. But it plays into mind control tech.
It plays into mind control tech, but I mean, outside of stealing the 7/7, purple has a potential lethal setup, right?
Quickly.
Yeah, but he has to play another minion here, or he risks overdrawing that second Divine Spirit.
Yeah, I think you play probably a Light Warden, because then you can double Beaming Sidekick, Divine Spirit, Interfire, and that'd be enough for Bonsam to kill. And you even have a Pyromancer to add that.
But it means that Nalguidan now has...
He just needs to steal the 7/7. After that, he has a board clear.
Engaging TC-130 mental dislocator.
Not the one that he wanted. Flesh Shaper, Sandstorm Elemental, and that should do it, I think. If I count correctly. Does he have enough mana to do everything? That's another question to consider.
Is someone injured?
Hand is too full.
Because he needs to Wild Pyromancer also.
Yes, he needs to sidekick, Wild Pyromancer.
He needs to heal first.
Oh, wait, he can't.
He needs to heal first. So that's 2. Sidekick. That's 4. Divine Spirit. That's 6.
Inner Fire.
Wild Pyromancer. And then Inner Fire. No, that's exactly 9 mana.
Yes, he has to sequence it so Wild Pyromancer is the very last, second to last thing that he plays.
Yes.
He does this, he does this, he heals.
So you heal it up, then you Divine Spirit,
Yes.
then you Wild Pyromancer, then you Inner Fire.
Correct. 100% guaranteed lethal. He's just trying to sequence this properly.
Heal.
Yeah.
Divine Spirit. Pyromancer. Nailed it.
And it looks like Purple's gonna use this combo and win the game. This time for real, guys. Yeah. 22 damage wraps it up. Game 1 victory for member of Tempo Storm.
Yeah, it was a close one. At the end there, you know, if he plays the mind control tank and then loses his Bwansamdi, he's in a rough spot. You know, extra arms onto the Northshire Cleric would have put him in the exact same spot because he would have had a 7-min health minion on board, not playing the mind control tank, not let himself at risk. But he gets there in the end. That's the important part. And maybe he had something else on his mind for extra arms in case, for some reason, Nalguidan did deal with his board in full. He had ways to reload and have something to buff health without needing like second Divine Spirit.
All right, well, that's going to set the stage for our final break of today. When we come back, we're going to have the conclusion of Super Saturday with Purple and Nalguidan series coming to its conclusion.
Shadows are rising again, darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the markets, and ancient mysticism. There should be scorching deserts, adventure, monster of narcissism. High stakes think annihilation, obliteration of civilization. Now is the time to be brave. Evil's come to enslave, but this league's gonna save the world.
My name is Sam Braithwaite, and I'm the Senior Global Franchise Lead for Hearthstone Esports. This event was especially cool because it takes place right after the brand new expansion, Rise of Shadows. Historically in Hearthstone Esports, we do our big events like this towards the end of an expansion cycle, but we really wanted to shake things up and really showcase that not only is the world champion the person who can pilot the best decks, but also the person who, when presented with a brand new game, can put together the best decks leading into the world championship. Cheers to you guys, the sold-out crowd here for the HCT 2019 World Championship.
Welcome back to 2019 HC World Championship.
We've had a lot of fun games, and we're looking forward to the grand finals. Showdown. Viper versus Hunter Ace. Only one can be the champion. Oh, come on!
Match be dead.
Wacko pick a Vix coming out from Hunter Ace.
It's now or never. Arch-Villain Reform.
Okay! In a completely solved game, Hunter Ace finds a way to maximize his chances. It's been a wonderful journey throughout the past few years of the Hearthstone Championship Tour, where stars were made and dreams came true.
Nalguidan on the Priest, Purple on the Warrior. Welcome back, everyone, to our closing home stretch here of Super Saturday week number 4. After today, we are officially past the halfway point of the season, TJ.
That's right.
We're more than 50% done.
Also right.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
That's usually where you jump in and start adding more comments. I felt like I set that one up pretty well. Coming up next, we got the Priest versus the Warrior. The Priest being able to put up a pretty decent amount of results against the Warrior. Surprisingly, a lot closer, 50% than you might think. And in fact, slightly Priest favored right now in Grandmasters. Is Warrior truly the counter to Priest? Are people not playing things correctly on either side? Or is it a deck list error, you think, TJ?
I think that it was just players realizing how to better play against Warrior. Muzzy touched on a little bit. In protecting your Northshire Cleric, right? So many players would play against Warrior and they'd be like, Warrior has a ton of one-drops. Play Northshire Cleric on 1. And then your Northshire Cleric would get dealt with. The Warrior would be able to navigate to a point where they limited Northshire Cleric to 1 draw, which oftentimes isn't enough against Warrior. So players have been adjusting, making better boards against Restless Mummy, trying to make things awkward for the Warrior instead of just trying to go all in early and trying to like aggress them down. Bonsomni gives them longevity in the mid to late stages of the game, and that allows you to kind of be greedy with how you play.
In the light's name.
So I definitely think that, yes, obviously some of all of those camps, but more so I think the Priests are just getting better at playing the matchup.
Interesting. Ooh, the injured Tolvir. However, that walks straight into the Weapons Project. The Weapons Project being very key. You know, Purple not coining out the Weapons Project immediately and going for the Town Crier. Any thoughts on that, TJ?
I think it would allow Nalguidan to better plan around it, right? Like, maybe if he does that, then he could hold on to Injured Tolvir and Injured Tolvir Power Word Shield instead.
Well, I mean, he just also plays Injured Tolvir and he still can't answer in the following turn.
True, but maybe he draws rushes and then can't Town Crier again. His curve might get messed up a little bit. I don't know. There's a lot of things. He also gives his opponents a Weapons Project, so he's going to turn less likely to stick, but I guess that's always going to be the case. I don't know. Just concealing information always has benefits.
Well, Nalguidan can do something very unusual, which is heal his opponent. He can heal Purple's life total to full. And then make this Light Ward into a 3/4, which is pretty resilient. There's no way he can really protect this Light Ward any further, though.
I wonder.
Another way to look at it is you trade one, or you trade in 1 armor for 2 damage.
Life is
Yeah.
an afterthought.
It's good as well. I actually like this play because this kind of entices Purple to play Restless Mummy. And if he does, then High Priest Amet is more likely to stick on the following turn.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess if he had Psycho Pomp, I think the plays would have changed pretty significantly. But High Priest Amet being in the hand and being a high priority stick is the way to go about it. That being said, I'm looking at Purple's hand, and this is looking like what Warrior usually wants. He's got the Plague of Wrath. He's got the Warpath. He's got 2 Warpaths, in fact. This is the kind of tool set that Warrior usually needs. The Greed from Purple. Oh my goodness.
I like it. He's got Plague of Wrath to back things up. He's got Restless Mummy if Nalguidan decides to try and beef up one of these minions. He can deal 8 damage from hand next turn.
Yeah, this is tricky when Purple has cards in his opening hand that he's still not playing, and he's playing Shield Block instead.
Yeah.
I like this response from Nalguidan, which is, yeah, I'm not going to fall for that. Idiot. That sounds like a Dwight Schrute kind of moment where it's like you very easily call someone's bluff. Just feels like you got to toss in the idiot there, even though it's a little bit mean.
Trying to get me pumped up right now, Dan,
Yeah.
with some offense references.
Well, also because I hear how foul-mouthed you actually are backstage, TJ. Calling people chuckleheads and idiots backstage whenever you're playing some Hearthstone games. You're like, yeah, get wrecked, idiot.
Because Chucklehead is
What
Deeply
now?
offensive to those people.
it's foul mouthed.
No tune can hold
Were
me.
you saying that kind of stuff around Oliver?
Yeah.
No tune can hold
Oliver's
me.
a filthy chucklehead. Okay, Injured Blade Master picked up with the Neverset Ritualist. He's got some waves of threats, but it's going to stop quickly.
Yeah, this feels brutal.
Life is
The
enough.
second copy of Restless Mummy. Well, you know, doesn't actually line up super cleanly.
No.
No tune can hold me.
But it's clean enough.
Clean enough. And Nalguidan can't be too disappointed in the sense that he saw 2 Town Criers. He knew there's a high chance of having the Restless Mummy 1 come out.
Yep.
And this is looking like what Priest usually does when it goes up against Warrior, which is getting all of its stuff removed. It's about winning the games from this position, right? Like, how does Nalguidan best maximize everything?
Well, honestly, I think it starts with Blanc Samedi. Which in that case, if Bonsomdi's my only out, or I think that Bonsomdi might be my only out, I'd hold on to a Met and wait a turn. But that might be too slow. Nalguidan feels like he might not be able to give Purple one more turn to try and get there.
I'm inclined to agree. I think Purple is right now trying to convince himself to not use Warpath and Plague of Wrath.
I wonder.
He could just triple Warpath.
Triple Warpath is a viable play. In fact, you can even toss in Eternium Rover. Okay, this is also totally fine too.
Yeah.
This actually makes sense because it sets up Warpath on the following turn as well. And that's not good. Nalguidan just drawing the spells.
Oh.
It feels like to me, as looks like this
What
game
is
and
in
this series will
Moon's
come to a
Will?
close within the next couple of turns, one way or another here. It seems to me that Nalguidan just got the bad matchups today. He queued his Shaman into a Priest, and we've been seeing people start Priest a lot. Gets a little bit wrecked there. Then Priest queues his Priest, and then Purple's like, well, obviously you want to play Priest, so I'm just going to play Warrior. And just gets smacked down there.
Yeah.
And some days that's going to happen. Some days you just, some series even. You can have even the most favored lineups. I've actually played best of 5s in last year's standing and Conquer CJ, where there was only like 2 or 3 bad matchups, but I had like 6 really good matchups, and somehow got like all 3 of the bad ones. Even though like my lineup's overwhelmingly favored it.
It happens.
Yeah, it does happen. Sometimes you can't really explain it any other way. Nalguidan trying to make the best of it. Good for him to hang in there. But without Bonsomdi, without Northshire Cleric, hand is looking barren.
And Spellbreaker picked up, which is just kind of the...
It's the icing on the cake.
It's the icing on the cake.
Yeah, because now even if Nalguidan picks up Bonsomdi and one drops, the Med's not going to really kick into play. Brawl.
How about a brawl also?
Yeah, Purple's expecting worst case nuclear scenarios. All right. It's the start of something here for Nalguidan.
Yeah.
I'm even wondering if he should just inner fire and start, chopping away the health.
It might be worth it, at the very least, to get rid of the armor. But,
Right.
I mean, not that it matters much, because he'd be dealing 4 and he'd still be out of range of Shield Slam. But, honestly, what are you going to do otherwise?
Yeah, Nalguidan pouring one out. It's that kind of day. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, Nalguidan. Today is not your day. Beaming sidekick.
Oof. I mean, he's going to play it out.
Yeah,
obviously.
of course. If he draws Bonsomdi, we've seen Bonsomdi pull the Priest back in the game. But now we enter the phase where Warrior can actually start putting stuff on the board, like triple Snip Snap here. It's pretty good, and Purple can't die from one combination of cards.
Yeah, I mean, Purple is not even going to give Nalguidan an opportunity to maybe get cards
Off of, like,
Northshire Cleric. Yeah.
In the light's name.
Like, he can just use a Warpath here to completely clear up this board. I like the play from Purple last turn on just completely holding.
Yeah, something that I don't think I had the discipline to do myself, but when I see it in practice, it makes a lot of sense.
In the
Yeah.
light's name.
Needs Bonsomdi right now. That's a Divine Spirit?
Yes, that is nothing. That is air pass.
And now is when Purple can feel free to start developing, because it means the Northshire Cleric off the top from Nalguidan is not going to draw immediate cards.
Oh, it's painful. Oh, 20 mana floating.
And a couple more 3/6s on the board. Make it stop, Nalguidan. Make it stop. All right.
Oh. All right. Who gets the stiff snaps, huh? Who gets it?
Just spread them out. Okay. Purple's not even gonna attack. He's
All
gonna
right,
he's
how long are we going to keep this up?
Is he gonna armor up, pass again, and just burn a card?
Yeah, why not? Do it.
All right.
Person gets a snip snap here. You get a snip snap there. You get a snip snap. Except for you on the far right. Forget you. Everyone gets a snip snap.
That should do it.
Yep.
Facing down lethal plus some on board from Purple's side.
Psychopomp.
If the last 6 turns weren't
Oh
concede.
yeah. Oh yeah. He gets it. He sees the lines.
Nice.
Well played.
Purple is not amused.
I know Purple that he kind of wants more close contested games. And yes, it feels good to get the victory, but I think he wants to have more complicated games than that.
Well, I mean, Purple, did even though there was a pretty rough draw from Nalguidan, I like the way that Purple played it. Like, it wasn't just like a free victory that was handed to him because of Nalguidan's draw. He still had to navigate the early game well, and he did. So, wasn't like this completely, pushover game.
It's
wasn't
just
a free
that
win.
it's super anticlimactic.
It's very anticlimactic.
Because, you're trying to get, like, the payoff for the reward and, like, the finishing damage.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Let's go ahead and check in with him, see if Purple's on the line. Purple, you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, what's up, dudes?
Got it. So at the very end of the series, it seemed like you weren't all too happy with it. You mind telling us a little bit, sharing a little bit about what's going through your head?
I mean, I'm a big advocate when you're 0% in a game you concede, and I don't know. I mean, the fact that I'm showing I don't need to attack to win, you just play scoop.
Okay, got it.
I want to go start my stream, and I got more things to do than my day than sit for the Grandmasters all day. I can start my stream and do some other stuff,
Got it. Yeah, got to move on, especially if the series felt over from your perspective there. Cool. Well, I mean, do you want to add anything? Because it seems like you're a big fan of keeping interviews pretty short here, Purple.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it was a pretty straightforward series. It was an interesting ban stage. I picked Druid, he picked Priest. So then I basically knew he was going to ban Shaman, so I boarded on playing Druid altogether, and he got massively punished by not queuing Priest game 1, because that's just absurd not to do. Like, imagine not playing Priest game 1. So,
yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a tricky game overall, trying not to get blown out by a mind control tech. I mean, it's so hard when you have 10 cards in your hand every turn to make something, like, to make the optimal play. I don't know. I was like, if I hit 80% of it, it's, like, good enough when you start with 2 North Star Clerks in that matchup. So, hopefully I did that. And then game 2, I mean, you have to play Priest like you'd Warrior. There's not a chance. There's almost no way you ever win that matchup as Priest against the current build without Elysiana and that I have. Where it's just so hard. It's removable city. I never need to attack you to win. I never need to play anything. So North Star Clerk's not very effective. So, and he never drew it. So basically a free win. Nothing interesting.
Yeah. Well, you broke it down pretty well. So, I mean, do you feel like it's fair to say that you got a pretty sizable advantage from the protect ban phase, or are you just saying that was a mildly interesting thing that developed?
I got an enormous advantage by him not playing Priest game 1.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's the key order stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're 0% in this interview, so we better scoop it up.
All right. Later, Purple. Thanks for stopping by. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Purple's going to play against Muzzy, and he's apparently going to stream, so you can check him out, Purple HS, or Purple_HS. Mm-hmm.
Always an entertaining time. At least from my perspective.
Yeah. Seems like it's a fun time. Keeping it simple and straightforward. All right, let's go ahead and recap what ended up happening today. Sane started off with a 2-1 over PNC with a important victory to almost lock himself up for playoff spot. I think if he wins one more, he is almost a shoo-in at that point. Bloody Face with a 2-0 over Monsanto as Monsanto's struggles continue, but we didn't see any semblance of the Quest Warlock. And then Frodan's featured match today, the Mech Paladin, end up banishing Firebat back to the Shadow Realm of whence he came from. It was a very fast series, even though it was a featured one. I was pretty entertained.
Yeah, Strive Crow, it's good to see that, it seems like his mentality's back on track. I expect him to pick things up as the season progresses. Would like to see him pick things up because I like what he brings to the table, especially when it comes to deck building. But we finished out the day with Muzzy taking a 2-0 versus Eddie Gallon with the 2-1 over ETC. And, of course, that last one, Purple, with a very convincing 2 over Nalguidan, giving him only his second match loss of the season. So, pretty big, maybe confidence booster for Purple. Not that he needed it.
On Sunday tomorrow, we're going to have Frozen versus Zalay. See if Zalay can keep up his reversal of momentum. Zalay was at the bottom of the divisions, but has rattled off a couple of wins in a row. Same thing with Amnesiac, but hot on his tail is Race, who's looking to see if he can also fight out of that relegation spot that PNC is in. Gallon's going to take on Firebat. We've mentioned that before. Nalguidan versus Strive Crow, and then we'll wrap it up, as we mentioned, with Muzzy versus Purple on Sunday. And just like that, 4 weeks are done.
Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy ride. This week feels a lot short to me, obviously. since yesterday I wasn't able to make it, but I've kind of liked the evolution of metagames. I feel like even though Priest is very good, we're starting to see some semblances of adaptations in lineups for Priest. Quest Warlock, I think, was a risk, but I'd like to bring, even though we haven't seen the results. Purple mentioning the evolution of Warrior. It's not this end-all, be-all, can beat everything list anymore. It's more targeted. Players are cutting Elysiana, playing double weapons project, really trying to go all in on removal. And I think we're going to continue to see more evolutions over the weeks as Priest continues its dominance.
All right. Well, that does it for us on Saturday. It's been a quick day in terms of Super Saturdays, but it's been a fast metagame. So if you've missed any part of the broadcast, you want to go back and check the deck list, or maybe you have a little too much dust and too many ladder stars, so you want to play Quest Warlock. Go to playhearthstone.com/esports. You can find out schedules, player profiles, and many more. That's it from us, Frodan, TJ, and everyone here in Studio 5 in Burbank, California. We'll see you back here, 2 a.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/playhearthstone, and we'll see you next time for more Hearthstone action.